These are the solutions for the third practice quiz for quiz 2 in the first trimester of Algebra 2. Problems 1 and 2. You basically just have a different look for the x-intercepts, the picture of the graph, and you're taking all this knowledge and building the factors as if you would do it if you had gotten the x-intercepts off the app or they were just listed. I highlighted the y-intercept, you don't need that there. So this one, x plus 1 times x minus 3. So remember that concept for writing factors, denominator times x, and then the opposite of the numerator. So for -2, 1x plus 2. For +4, 1x minus 4. On 3 through 6, you should use some kind of app to get the x-intercepts and then go back and factor. On 5 and 6, you have a little bit more work to do, and it actually shows the whole idea of how I teach factoring, which is really backwards solving. So here's one way you can get them using the PolySimult app, which does one of two things. It gets polynomial roots and it solves systems of equations, of linear equations, I should say. So 3, 20, and -7. And then there it is, -7 and 1/3. Or you could, oops, you didn't need to see my desktop there, use the online roots calculator. And so 3x squared plus 20x. So this is the math portal site that is linked, or you can find it somewhere. And so then you press enter and it's going to deliver, voila, 1/3 and -7. Okay, now we're ready to factor with the common factor check. So 3x minus 1 is a factor. So remember denominator times x, and then opposite of the numerator. And then it looks like we don't have a common factor because 3x times x is 3x squared. Here we have an x plus 3 and an x plus 4. But there must be a common factor of 2 because x times x is not 2x squared. Here we have a factor of x and a factor of x minus 4. We're going to put equal to 0 too. And notice once I turn this around that x times x is not -2x squared. So I must have a common factor of -2. You got to check for common factors all the time. So this factoring 2x minus 1, a lot of times I just write x next to the denominator value, times x plus 9. Now we needed to subtract 8 over, so I'll make that -9 equals 0. So you need to probably do that. So if you check these out with the FOIL product or distributive property, you're good to go. So the extra piece on these is the equal to 0 because we're solving. And you're now going to see how is it that I'm able to factor from the x-intercepts. It's just backwards solving. So the idea is you take both factors equal to 0 and solve. And so by going backwards from that, from what just happened, I can write the factors if I know these. So these are the same thing. So I'm highlighting all the extra stuff you need to do. These are the same as the 0 and the 4. So here, 2x minus 1 equals 0, and x plus 9 equals 0. So 2x equals 1, x equals 1/2. And then subtract 9, x equals -9. Again, these are the same thing as what you started out with, what we started out with. So what I'm showing you is a backwards solving technique to factor. So I'm just going backwards from these solutions. And so, you know, if you're not doing it by sight, some people say it's, I wouldn't call it cheating, but using a pretty good aid to help you. It is. And some people just say, well, why don't you just factor it as it stands? Look at this, 2x squared plus 17x minus 9. You do need to subtract over the 8. and just guess and check and do it by sight. Well, that can be done too. But if you want to be 100% correct, know the x-intercepts and then go backwards the factors. So here, we're going to have a 5x plus 2 and an x plus 5. And that, now we want to know what is the standard form. So we have to FOIL it out. 5x plus 2x plus 10. So 5x squared plus 27x plus 10. Not too hard to do. And then the second one, you have a common factor. And so we'll have 2x plus 3 and x minus 1. We'll stop the x there. If you're going to multiply the 7 and do it into the first set of parentheses, but you can only multiply it into one set of parentheses. Minus 14x plus 21x minus 21. So 14x squared plus 7x minus 21 is that final quadratic. But emphasis, point of emphasis, only multiply the 7 into one set of parentheses. And that is the third practice for the second quiz in the first trimester.